hello. I am back. Yes, I did take the weekend off. I do apologise. I'm assuming you can all hear me, because gotta know that computers love us dearly, so I'm going to hope that you can hear me. If you can hear me, please say something so that I am aware of your presence. I had lots of problems over the end of last week with my streaming setup. Let me just quickly type something. And in short, my Stream Deck wasn't talking to my camera. Now, this maybe would not be much of a surprise for us all, because, computers suck, and Windows updates, great, glad it's working, and except for the fact they're made by the same company. And I dropped them a note saying, hey, my stuff suddenly stopped working, and they kind of went, oh, well, maybe you haven't plugged it in. Bitch, it's been working nearly 9 months. What do you mean? It's not unplugged, it's all working, because the camera would work with the camera software, and the Stream Deck would do things that weren't with the camera, just not the two talking together. And it's funny, because as of today it's working again, but it didn't work all over the weekend, and because I kept poking it to see if I could work out why, and I haven't changed jack crap, and now it's working. Anyway, it is time for the joyous things of making lace. Now, it's been a bit warm over here in the UK. For us, we don't like this amount of heat. We're pretty bad in heat, because unlike the rest of the universe, we don't generally have aircon. And as a result of not having aircon, we tend to melt a little, and then we get grumpy, and, well, yeah. So, over the weekend, it was quite warm, and I'd stayed up really late on Saturday doing the stress test, and so I decided that I would sleep. I would do not a lot. Now, I did go and sit in the garden like a good girl. I made use of the time to go see the sun. I managed to burn very gently. So I just went mildly pink. I don't know what that is. The dog will eat that. I went mildly pink and have returned to my usual prison pallor colour. But I did at least sit in the garden. I've didn't do a lot else, however, I will admit. Many of the things for which I had intended to do did not get done, such as making more bobbins, which I really do need to do. The problem is one of my co-workers leaves in about a week and a bit, and I'm going to have to do their work, is the short answer. So I'm going to be doing 2 jobs, for which I don't necessarily mind on face value. There's worse things in life, believe it or not. However, it does mean that instead of occasional quiet days, I'm not really getting occasional quiet days anymore. And my table's not level. There we go. I'm not getting them anymore. So, and for those who were around for the last couple of weeks for the great farts at work, do know they're still banging on about it, even though we fixed it and we were right. Well, it's been fixed, we didn't fix it, but we told them what it was 2 odd weeks ago. They finally admitted that yes, that was the problem, but they have now fixed it, and we still had half an hour's meeting talking about how it happened. Well, as we didn't do it, as we didn't fix it, not a lot we can say, really. You know, it's like us, you know, speculating on you know, why the roadworks on a particular road have overrun. All we can do is speculate. It's kind of out of our reach, really. Can we not? You know? So, yes. But it is good to be here, and it's good to have someone to talk to while I work. Because, to be honest, that is definitely one of the hardest things I've found with doing this online, is that when there's no one talking back to you, I have profound admiration for radio DJs, but I can't do it. 1, 2, 3, 4. I don't know how they sit and talk without some kind of feedback. I mean, I can talk about a lot of crap for a lot of while, but I kind of run out. I kind of, you know, kind of want to hear, are you bored of this now? Do you want to hear something else? You know, someone got a question. I kind of need that interaction. So I really don't know how they do it. But there we go. So yes, it is good to have, it's good to know that someone's listening, but moreover, someone who does respond every so often, just kind of make it a conversation, not a lecture, you know. Liz's soapbox hour for, you know, I mean, it does end up a bit like that, but, you know, it's nice to have the difference of opinions, or maybe the same opinion, but, you know, have that feedback from it all. So I do need to do the bobbins. Gonna have to have another bobbin making stream, I think. The problem is, it's like today, because it's been nice, and I was going to stream earlier, but the garden dude was here doing some work, so the dogs were whiny, and by the time the dogs weren't whiny, I'd eaten and now was tired, so I took a bit of a nap, and now it's 7 o'clock, and, well, it's nearly 7:30, and yeah, basically. So how are you doing out there? What did you do with your weekend? Obviously you're not compelled to share if you do not desire to do so. But, I'm really looking forward to doing strips rather than triangles. Now don't get me wrong, strips will have a fair amount of repetition. I'm not going to deny that. Especially as it is most likely that, as we talked about for the pattern, there'll be snakes top to bottom. That's given. That takes, chunk out of either side. In the middle, the point of doing, say, big, small, big, small, big, small. So it's gonna get very repetitious. As does this. Some of the big advantages of doing the strip, though, is it doesn't move closer towards me. Not really. I mean, it goes around the edge of a kind of a toilet roll tube. It's not a toilet roll tube, but it goes around the edge of a padded out toilet roll tube. As a result of doing that, it does mean that, yes, it comes marginally closer, but you go click, 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 move it around a little bit, and you don't end up trying to work it in like this last couple of inches of the pillow with, down to this stop. You haven't got this movement. Now, admittedly, it does mean that you can't, once I get to the point of needing to move the roller, I can't really see behind it. I can no longer see the lace that is becoming freed up from pin because, well, it's over the hill, right? And being over the hill, I'm aware that it's there because, well, I did it, but I can't see it. I'm slightly annoyed it works out as 6 panels as well. It could be 5, but then I'd need to make edges. Now that can work, but don't really want to do making of an edge. Now making an edge wouldn't be horrendous. But at the same time, 5 is too thin by about by about an inch and a bit. Six overhangs the edges by a little bit, which is kind of an ideal amount of overhang. But I really wanted it to be an odd number. So there was 1 in the middle. Hello, little one. You all licky. Yes, you've had some water. I'm so glad that you've come to dribble in my hands. I so needed that. I'm sure you can hear that. It's like an industrial waste unit. It is. Only it's called Amy, isn't it? You are a little terror. Yes, you are. You are. You are. Just little one. No, I've just dried them. Allegedly, dogs do this for the salt on your body, but you're not supposed to feed your dog salt. Well, if they crave it so much, how is it so bad? Oh, little one. You're loved very much, but I don't want to be wet. No, I don't. Don't really. No. No, I don't. No. Little waggy one. Yes, I know. Yes, I know. You stick your nose there. Yes, you. Mwah! Yes, you're a good girl. Oh. Right. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Back to what we were doing. So, I saw that. Where is your dog guarding abilities? A flying thing came in and landed on my pillow and flew off. So much guarding you did there, dog. I should also point out that they've been feeling the heat too. And I put down their cooling mat. And while I know they know that exactly what it is and that it is cooling, they're avoiding it. So I am looking forward to... I really want to get to using my new bobbins. She says, looking frantically around, wondering where the bobbins she's already made went. The problem is they're all in these little pouches. So that's the... And they all look the same, which really doesn't help. Ah, this could be them. That's why it might have a bow on it. I think this is the fancy ones. Yes, this is my fancy ones. So I'm really looking forward to these because I do like them. I really do. So let's put the bow back on the front. Because I bought quite a few of these little bag things, and they've got this half glued on bit of rubbish, and well, it looks remarkably like the other and another and another. I bought quite a few. This one's got the straight wooden ones that I like, that are heavy. What the hell was that? That's right, something just went in my ear. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I don't know what that was. It woke me up a little bit. Because of course I have all my PC sounds going through my ears, so I can hear things that you can't, and you can hear things that I can't, such as the music. I have good old Darth microtransactions in my ear, playing Path Exile 1, which came out on Friday, I think it was, Thursday or Friday. New league for that. To be honest, I haven't quite seen much of the new league mechanics myself, but then I haven't really exactly been playing it a lot because I was Monsters memorying over the weekend, so don't get me wrong, I like Path of Exile, it's a good game, but yes. Well, it's Monday. Just the start of the week. No, that doesn't look right. Something looks wrong here. Because you come out, you're that pin, you're that pin, and there's a gap here. So clearly I have made a mistake. So let's go back and work out how I got that wrong. Because 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You're just the wrong side of the pin. So let's go back and put the right side of the pin. It's no more complicated than that. That's fine. We can do that. So you need to bugger off. You twist. 1, 2, 3, 4. No. This is wrong. This is wrong. This is very wrong. There should only be... No, it's right. It is right. I haven't lost my marbles. Well, I have, but no more than usual. So, it looks wrong because there's 5, right? But that pair isn't in yet. This pair now are arguably out, therefore there are the 3 that I'm expecting for the journey. So, let's put you in a peg. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So let's put stick on you so you're out of the way. That. Here's the 4th one that gives us the pin. Ooh, you're a little bit weak-willed there. That. There. You're out the way, and there is the 3. But because I hadn't, the reason it was looking wrong is because if I pull that down and start bringing, i.e. I've worked across all of the pairs, and then I bring in this pair, there are the 5 that constitute the journey. However, you have already left the picture and you are just coming in. So it is very easy to get it kind of... This is why your head hurts. Yeah, I've pulled out a pin I want. So I'm going to steal a pin I don't need for the moment. And that somewhere back here, I'm going to have to bring it a lot closer because I can't get to it because I have frontage and I can't get close enough to see where under this big pile of threads. It should be in there. In there. And I've done it to another one. So I'm going to grab you and put you back. Now, let's make them shorter. I don't want to push these in. Oops, I didn't want you to go that far. But what I was going to do is push these down a bit means that I'm less tempted to pull them out, is kind of where I was trying to go with that. Right. It's not the end of the world. Still amazes me how I can get it wrong so much. Also puzzles me sometimes how my viewer count will show loads of people came in and they all run away, and it's like, well, I don't know what they were expecting, but clearly this wasn't it. But if this isn't what you're expecting, what were you expecting, really? This pin's at a bit of an overly jaunty angle. It's putting me off. It makes it look like a skipped one. There you go. No, this is wrong. Still got it wrong somehow. Somehow I've got this wrong. For this is one of a pair. And should be going to that pin, but it ain't. Suggesting I scoop it up again. Shorten this. I'm going to guess I didn't bring in one at the end of the last row from here. So that you are actually then that will give us too many. I didn't add a pair. I really do wish I could see where pairs and bobbins kind of went. One, two. So I did bring one in. So I went wrong before this then. Well, suckety poo. I must have gone wrong somewhere, because they don't add up. You're just getting longer again. Quit it. stop getting longer? For the love of everything. It's too hot for this. Can you quit it? Now, this is not overly conducive to using the hadnt system, but we can try. Now, you see they're too baggy. And because of the ends here, I wonder if I take that off. You can't really put a hadnt on and trap the thread easily. Can do that though. Yeah, that maybe works. If you're going to be this annoying. It's 2 hadnts, that's what that felt weird. Don't know where you came from. It wasn't you. I'm confused. I think it's the previous row I screwed up on. That still doesn't entirely make sense. So I didn't add one here. 2, 3, 4. You've already gone, so that's 3, so I need to add you. That gives us 2 pairs to the end. 1, 2, that's right. I twisted them. No, I didn't. How do I screw up so often? I wouldn't mind, but it's... None of this is technically hard, and yet it seems to be each and every time I find a new way to... Well, not necessarily new, but I find ways to screw it up. And that almost defy logic. Because, well, you know, when doing the cloth stitch, you add one side, you take from the other. So, how do you screw it up so that you've done neither, you know? Hello! Teletubbies vacuum. Confused, dear friend. What Teletubbies vacuum? Oh, okay. I have never watched the Teletubbies, so if that's what they say about their vacuum, then that would make some logic. I mean, I know there's Dipsy, Lala, something, and Poe. I can't. Oh, Tinky Winky. Yeah, I was just trying to... No, I don't know which one's which. I know it kind of goes Tinky Winky, Dipsy, Lala, Poe, and that's about it. That's kind of my entire knowledge of Teletubbies. And that the sun's a baby. That's kind of... No, that's about it. I know more about Ben 10 than I know about that, and I've only seen the first series of that, so you know, let's not be pretending that I know stuff. I really love the theme tune of the first series of Ben 10. I really love... The problem is one thing... the problem, you have to be careful when you say stuff like that, because different countries get different theme tunes. Sometimes on British TV they put... Well, and of course originally it was only 10, right? Which is why it was Ben 10, right? I just love the fact that it was... I just loved the way she sang the theme tune for the original. Haven't really seen any of the ones since then, although I understand he unlocked the device and got more things and, you know, can do a whole load more. But I guess like everything, it probably got a bit silly. Done it always. But I did like Ben 10. As I say, sometimes I know this is going to sound really shallow, but where's the stick? Oh, there it is. That's not right. There's too many bobbins. 1, 2, 4, 5, 6. Someone somewhere's short a bobbin. You are. That's why. But anyway, I'm a bit shallow in that, even if especially with cartoons, I should point out, in that we all know that cartoons are, in essence, moralistic ways to portray events of things, right? Well, there's nothing wrong with that. I'm all for a bit of that. That's fine. But I judge how much I like the cartoon by the theme tune. If I really like the theme tune, I'll endlessly watch it. If I don't like the theme tune, it's alright. But, And so for Ben 10, really liked the theme tune for Ben 10. And as I say, I do know that it may not be the same elsewhere. I know that, for example, Charmed in the UK had a very different theme tune to the rest of the world. So did Monk. Some things are the same, but some things are different. So when you really like a theme tune, you can't be sure that that's what everyone else got, if you know what I mean. Why on earth did they call their vacuum cleaner Nunu? Okay. I'm doing okay. Kind of been a bit tired. The weather's a bit shitty in the sense that it's hot. And as you of all people know, we Brits don't do aircon, so when it's too hot, we just kind of quietly hide in the corner. And moan about it a lot. I'm doing alright. I'm looking forward to getting to the end of this square and not making squares again for a potentially very long time. But I do need to do the test run of the strip and pick out my decorations so that I have something to do when we get to the end. And I haven't been making my bobbins yet. I've got a bunch that I need to varnish, which is fine. I've got a few I need to glue things on. I've got a few I've got to sand and paint a funny colour. And then glue and then varnish. So, but I need to get to a point where I've got enough of them that I can do a strip, because I really want to try them out. But as I was saying at the very beginning of the stream, I'm slightly annoyed that it works out to be 6 strips wide. So when it comes to doing our test strips for decoration auditions, I'm going to do them in 3 parts. I was going to do them all as one big long one, but then I decided it would be better to do 3 more joins and then have my test piece, i.e. this piece, she says, grabbing it, to have this piece wide as the window. So just for kind of, I mean, I know it's not going to look like this, but to have it as a width of a window to get a bit of an idea. And to practice the joins, because, well, you can never do that too much. What are you doing? How have you done that? There you go. So yes, I have my little wodge of random piece of string. Okay. So I was just checking I hadn't just managed to play out a thread of this, but that's the other stuff, the slippery, weirdy stuff that was supposed to be silk, but I'm pretty confident it's not silk. It's just silky, if you know what I mean. It's shiny and slippery, but that doesn't make it necessarily silk. Pretty sure it's plastic. It's polyester or whatever it's called. Now I did see something, and I have thought of it before, which was a picture where they'd done like, I don't know, let's say a big daffodil, right? And then made like a frame around it, and then filled in the gaps, so that realistically they only needed about 6 pairs of bobbins to do the whole thing. And I have thought about it, because, well, that would be cool. Because then you can make something in one piece. The problem is, in my mind anyway, is that you end up making like long plaits out of 2 pairs of bobbins, and kind of joining them together would be difficult. Not impossible, but difficult. And it's not how I would I wouldn't want to have to do it, in the sense of, imagine I was doing kind of what I was doing. So you do kind of half stitch, you do lots of half stitches. So you end up with them all tangled down for a bit. You put a pin in, you then do loads more. And then on the way back, when you're coming from the other side, you lift the pin up so there's a small hole, pull one of the threads through, slip a bobbin through and continue on. But it makes it kind of, well, it could get messy. Plus, I'd have to be able to draw something, which, you know, don't have artistic skills, so that really does limit it a fair bit. But I had thought about it, because that would be a good way to make something. But I'd have to find something that you could translate into a few stitches of lace along the way. Because what you'd do is, it's a bit like this, is you'd almost make like the zigzags and then fill in the gaps between the zigzags and then the gaps between this with something else. And it is one way of doing it, do not get me wrong, but it just kind of doesn't quite sit as well in my head. Although it would mean being able to do the whole thing in one go. But if you've got to go back, it means you can't unpin anything. Because obviously if you've got, I haven't got anything to draw on. Just draw on the back of my sandpaper, right? Where's a pen? What are you? Oh no, you're a white pen. You're about as much help as a sad thing. There's a pen. Oh, got to extract it out of where it is. There it is. Right, so if you have like a large rectangle like this, which is going to be, you know, the equivalent of your window, so that's 47 centimetres and this is 97 centimetres, and you do, I know, bear in mind, lack of ability, So we're going to make a tree-like object, and this comes down, that comes off there, that comes off there out the back. So there's a few bits, and it gets. And as I said, not an artist here. My pen is being shitty, and I can't draw that far away from me with my pen not doing its thing. It's a fairly new pen, and well, I think it was a bit cheap, let's put it that way. So, you know, you have some little twig bits coming off like this. So let's say you did this as your picture, not that you can actually see that very well. Hang on, let me zoom in a bit. Go across a bit. Oh, can we go a bit quicker? Yeah, go over there a bit more, right? So, I know it's not the greatest of pictures of a tree, but if you've then got to do like the outline in one stitch to make the actual outline, you've then got to fill somehow, not that this pen's helpful, but you're filling in the tree. Oh, this pen's shit. Where's my pencil? There it is. That pen can go do one, right? So now I've got a pencil. So you know, this will shade in the you know, will shade in the tree to make it, you know, kind of represent one stitch, right? Like this. I think there's it's supposed to be a branch, right? Well, if you're then going to have to make a grid like this, one set at a time, and do each line at a time, you can't unpin any of those edges, can you? Because at some point you've got to go back and fill in this bit and fill in this bit and fill in all these other bits behind with the hatching, like this, all of the behindy bits to fill in the hatching behind, when there is gaps, and you have to fill in them all, and of course they'll all line up, but you know, like me. So you've then got to go back and do all of the, well, then you've got to have the whole thing on something. Who's got a pillow that big? So yeah, it's gonna be awkward. Hence I kind of didn't give it too much more thought than that, because my brain went, well, that's nice. And, you know, if you had something, say, the size of this, let me put my thing back there, you go. If you had something kind of like the size of this pillow, you could kind of do it. But if you wanted more than that, well, that gets complicated now, doesn't it? And yes, you can do it. You can lift things up and put things down. But once you take it off, the pins don't tend to want to stay in. What's this doing? And if the pins don't want to stay in, well, then you've got to try and put them back in, and that gets complicated as well. So, you know, don't really need any of that happening. But it would be nice to make it out of so few pairs of bobbins, that's for sure. It's very hard to have bobbin anxiety when you only ever need, like, you know, 6 pairs of bobbins or something. Too hot for you to constantly be undoing. Oh, my face is drying out. Oh well. And that finger I scratched at and gave a blister is beginning to itch again. So I foresee round 2 of the whole blister scenario. Don't know why it itches. Let's sort this bobbin out a bit. I don't understand how it gets so much hotter in the evenings. So I'm not sure how many of you are out there. I think Twitch chat has done weird things again. Because it's told me I reconnected, yet I haven't lost a single packet, so I don't know where they went. Weird feelings in my left arm, like I've overdone something. again, I do something weird, and that isn't actually holding any of these threads out. It needs to be kind of there. Anyway, I know I haven't exactly, done a lot, but it has been. It's only been an hour and a bit. Oh, Jesus Christ, I could have sworn it was more than that. I thought I'd done 2 hours. Must be the heat. Feels like 2 hours. Oh look, twit my, and ABS has rejoined the chat again. I know what we could do. Oh, did I show you this? Which is bobbin winder. I got another one. It's very much like the one that I've been using, although the one I've been using is a lot wider at the whole point, whereas as you can see from the end of here, that's quite a small hole, so that will hold smaller things. And if I grab one of L's stick, it holds it quite nicely, holds it very firmly, so you can go windy, 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 and that works quite well. If anything, it's a little tight, so that's a good thing. Rory's really scared of it because it lands on his head. It landed on your head, didn't it? And you got all scared. Yes. Put it over there, then it can't land on your head. No, it can't. It can't land on your head. You're a hot dog. You are far too hot, my man. Oh, your ears. I've eaten dinners colder than your ears. Haven't I? I've eaten dinners colder than your ears. That were called hot dinners. Yes. There. How are your paws? Your paws aren't too bad. How are you doing? Your ears aren't quite as hot, are they? No. My little puppies. Right. I know what we're going to do next anyway. We're going to cover all of this back up with the 50,000 cloths of doom. I don't need all these cloths, of course. I just put them all there so I don't lose them more than anything else. Right, what I need to do is move that. Hang on. Right, move that. Grab this. Place it there. And Now I need two. That's you. That's you. Let's move over a little bit. So somewhere in here is one I've already done one end of. There it is. Let's put you up there. For goodness sake, why do people always text you when you're busy? Goodness sake. Assume this bloke's found his like baby photos or something. Keeps sending me photos from when he was at school. This piece of paper's had a seen better days. I know it's hardwood and all that, but there's hardwood and then there's like making it hard work, you know. I'm so hot. See, this has still got plenty of life in it. It just doesn't feel like it when you're scraping sticks on it. I don't know what I haven't done. To it being a little bit more. Give me up on that bit of polishing at the end. Alexa, what's the temperature on the downstairs thermostat?
The downstairs thermostat temperature is 25 degrees.
25 fucking degrees in the evening, indoors, in the shade. In case you wondered, the reason I give them a twist in this half mangled bit of sandpaper is, well, it kind of makes it rounder, smooths off some of any of the edges that are left by me grinding it, and I'm getting cramp in my hands again. This is why I didn't do so many last time. Then I'll leave it, because the sticks are quite blunt at the other end. They do tend to grind a hole in my hand, which doesn't help life. sad dog look for? Hmm? What's the matter? Hmm? Hey, my little one. It is warm, yes I know. It is, yes. It is warm. Rory's half asleep. Just like you should be. Yes, you should. Why don't you lie on the cool mat? I mean, you're not quite as bad as hot as he is, but go lie on the cool mat, little one. Hmm? Go lie on the cool mat. Oops. Get in there. Now hopefully, when I've finished grinding the ends off these, that'll be me done enough to make the strip. I'll have to recount them, of course, just to be, you know, safe. Pretty sure I went slightly over the top than under, so pretty sure. You're not big enough yet. Small enough, whatever. That's better. lie down on the flat side. Right, I need to count how many. Where's my skanky rag? Let's write this down. Right. Let's count how many we had already. I've got a feeling it was 20 or 30. Two, 4, 6, 8, 20. That looks like 30 to me. 2, 4, 6, 8, 30, and 2. So that's 30. And there is one here, which is 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18. So that will take us to 50. I've got to be careful with these ones because these ones I haven't put varnish on yet. So that's 50. That will give us, this will be 10 more then. 2, 4, 6, 8, 60. Two, 4, 6, 8, 70, 2, 4, 6, 8, 82, 4, 6, 8, 90. So 90 is plenty. So we need to colour these next, I think. This is where it starts getting messy. Because, yeah, don't hit shit with this without it getting messy. And wow, does this smell? I've forgotten how much this smells. Time to take the glasses off. I really had forgotten how much this smells. Oh, this is almost pure alcohol. The noise you hear is me drawing lines down the bobbin. So I'm going to try and do one on camera. I go like this. Okay? It's just easier for me to do it where I can see it, especially without my glasses on. And the reason I'm only doing half of it is because that way I get less of it on my fingers. Because hopefully it'll be dryish, especially in this heat, by the time I come back to it. So if you want to talk crap, now is your time, to be honest, because this is not mentally taxing. It's just a case of colouring it in. Something went beep, but I can't see what it is because I haven't got my glasses on. So if you're trying to talk to me and you're in this channel, just talk to me on here. Can't see it. I didn't recognise what beep it was from though. It sounded like a Discord beep, to be honest, but I'm not sure because they all use very similar beeps. Getting cramps. pile, for goodness sake. I'll give them a couple of seconds. Right, I'm off doing this, trying to work some cramp out my fingers. So where did the thing go? It's under here. Oh, out you come. That's you. This one's not going on very well. think I really sanded these down quite as far as I meant to. Rory, no. Come on. You're a good boy, but you're a hot dog. You are a hot dog. You are. Can you stop licking my hands? I don't need wet hands. And you do not need to knock my table at the right moment. Don't know why I opened all of these. I wasn't going to get that far. But what I do need right now is I need a wee. I shall be right back. There we go, back again. Right, time to colour in the other half of these. Let's get you across here. So. Stop running away. So let's not worry about you for a minute. Although somehow you do not look anything like enough. So, we've done the tops. We need to do the bottom. I do have more beads, do not panic. Shut up, dog. So these were tight, I know. You were kind of one of them. So glue on it because this one's quite baggy. let me count how many we need. So that's the top. 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 12, 13, 14, 15, 18, 19, 20, 21. 21 times 4 is 84. So if we've got 30 and yeah, we need the lot. What I'm going to do, I think, is not put the ball bearings on yet, because they're the most dubious bit, because they basically have to balance and dry on. Oops, didn't get the pot of things ready. So let's close you so I don't get confused without my glasses on. Thank you. Ooh, possible spam bot. Let's go see what the possible spam bot has to say. You are indeed a spam bot. Hey, Sukan. Good to see you. It has been a bit, I'm okay. It's a bit too warm here in the UK. For, here we are, it's 10 o'clock, it's 20 at night, it's 25 degrees C, which is whatever that is in freedom units. Hang on. In freedom units, that is 25 C in 77. For 10 o'clock at night, too warm. And so I thought I'd make some more bobbins, because I really do need to make more bobbins. If I make all that is left here, I have some in a bag. So we have, I think it was 32 in the bag, so we have 32 bobbins in the bag. And as a result of 32 bobbins in the bag, we need to make another 52, which should be all the ones on the table. So the ones slightly off screen here. Oh, spam bot's already dead. Excellent. They come here to die. You know, anyway. So there's like 20 here. There's like 30 something here. But it makes up to 90. So we will have the 84 that we need. So I'm just gluing things together, as you do. Now I need to poke a hole in the end of here because I left it too long. Like that. So let me roll this up a bit. This tube roller was not designed for glue, but it's working for glue. I just need to get it started because it tends to come out. It's a bit loose for, there we go, for this glue pot. It was designed for something completely different. No, it's not having none of it. It keeps coming out. So you have to kind of start before the end, if that makes sense. So I've got to start with the end kind of over the end, and then I can kind of wrap the thing, put pressure easily on the end of the glue to get some glue out to stick the thing on. So yes, it's good to see you at the weekend, Zuka, in game. Things falling off again. it's hard to be talkative and concentrate on gluing and screwing little bits of crap on the end of a stick. So if you want conversation, I'm afraid so, you're going to have to start it, because I've only got a few spare brain cells at the moment. This doesn't feel like I screwed it down enough, but I also know I checked them all for fitting, so glue down a second. So there was 99 out of 100 in there. That's right, put the glue away because I'm getting sore fingers and black fingers, because, well, the colour comes off till you paint them with the varnish, so. So I know I haven't put the ball bearings on these, but I can, arguably, look to put the varnish on those and those. What I really need is some method of holding them up. You know, some form of pot. She says looking at a pot, but it's full of stuff, and taking stuff out of it would be difficult. So that's not a good pot. Could glue a bunch of toilet roll tubes together. So I've got a sore finger because I pushed those end metal ones on because they're too small. And I know I sand them down to a bit of a point so that, but what I do is I push them on as hard as I can and glue it to try and persuade it that's where it's going to stay. Now ideally, in a perfect world, I'd drop some super glue down the hole, but I haven't got that much super glue. I have got plenty of bead glue, so I could put more bead glue down there. Let's have some drink. Not been drinking enough liquids considering how hot it is. So how you doing, Zukin? I saw a pin around here earlier. There it is. I want to stab myself in it. Not literally, well, sort of literally. I want to pick at something with it. I want to see if this is a blister or not. Oh no. Sorry to hear that, Zuko. Anything I can help with? Start this end. First pot to run out wins. I found an air pocket in this glue thing because there's no way I've used this much glue tonight, and it's kind of suddenly feeling a bit empty. before you all ask, no, I'm not actually left-handed, but I am semi-ambidextrous. So, even though I can't see that far, I can still pick things up with my hand. Does help. Gives me many options in life. There are some things that I just can't really do in my left hand. Right is one of them. Well, I can write, it just looks like something a 5-year-old child did. But that's more of the lack of practice than the inability. It's just, you know, well, it's had about the same amount of practice as a 5-year-old kid, so it knows what it should look like, but it is not practiced in the art of forming it. You alright, Rory? I hear Rory having doggy dreams. Making big kind of snorty weirdy noises. Dropped it. Don't know where that went. Let's put the lid on, see if I can find it. I'm not that much of a miser, but at the same time, I don't really want the dog eating it. So, I don't know where that went. The answer obviously is the floor. But of course, being round, could have gone anywhere. felt it then. There it is. It's the other side of the table. Managed to get on the way. Did it pop? Not doing too badly at this today, are we? It does help that we've predetermined that all of these end beads do fit. So we're not spending 10 minutes finding that none of them fit. We have found that they all fit, so we know we can rely on them to fit. Does make a lot of difference. It speeds up the process quite a bit. 7, 3, 7. Oh, cool! Exactly the number are in there. Bargain. I couldn't try that better if I tried, could I? Don't put the glue on till you put the other bits on, idiot. Getting carried away because near the end. Yes, I know. Stop being overexcited. And I haven't put the ball bearings on. But I can arguably use them without ball bearings. I would just put the knot the other side of the top bead. Basically, there's around 100 bobbins of doing this in one tube of glue. And interestingly, I bought enough to make 200 and something, 200-ish, and I bought 2 tubes of glue. So that was well guesstimated, wasn't it? So I didn't have any idea before I started. Now, admittedly, I haven't done the ball bearings that take a fair bit of glue, but then I've got a fair bit left. Oops. I smell fart, and it ain't mine, dog. It's rank. glass. Then all we have to do is paint them with a ton of varnish and put ball bearings on the top. So, other than not ball bearing, all of these are ready to be painted. But as it's 11:15 and I've been doing this, it's only 3.5 hours, blimey. Feels longer, I'm gonna say, but I mean, to be honest, painting them doesn't take a ridiculous amount of time. But we're very, very near now. We did very well today. And I haven't glued the ball bearings on. And they do pretty much stay on by willpower and a tiny bit of glue. So, but we have done well, I feel. Now, there is temptation to do 2 coats of varnish. Just for added goodness. Because I did do pretty thin layer of varnish, it has to be said. But I'm really pleased. They do look nice. I do like them. And just so you can have a better look, she says, as her camera doesn't want to suddenly doesn't scroll in again. Now, well, to pick one up. So, oh, the whole thing seems to have hung. That's interesting. I know why, possibly. No. Let me. My camera's died. But it doesn't know. So I don't know whether you're hearing me. I think you are. A little while ago, my camera just stopped updating. It must be overheating. Don't see why. It knows that the camera is so let's sources. No, not those kind of sources. There we go. That's better. Right. So, as a reminder, let's see if we can zoom in. Yes, we can. It's all been good again now. Oh, there he is. So if you have a look at one of these, because these are the ones with the bobbins on. If I hold it sideways, you'll see better. So, I'm really pleased with these. But we have made quite a few tonight. Now, as I said, they haven't got the ball bearings on. I get that. But all of these now, these ones in this section down here need the ball bearings, which are in this pot over here. And those ones have already got them. But I can, in essence, use them as is. For if I take a varnished one and get a very small length of thread that I saw floating around my desk earlier, so length of thread, if I now this is a very crappy length of thread, but if I wind it round so that it's got some grip on the bobbin, you can of course do the knot below the ball bearing and attach it. So technically the ball bearing part is optional. I did say technically. Now I have put the ball bearing on as a rose so that it can hold the knot away from the general antics of the rest of them. But gluing it on is a bit of a shit actually. I did think about using hot glue, but hot glue would be really messy, I think. I don't think I'd be able to have the precision hot glue. I'd really need an exceptionally fine nose hot glue. Let me have a quick look and see if they make such a thing. Because, well, that could be quite useful if they do. Because Americans tend to use hot glue for everything. Fine nose hot glue gun. That's not no, that doesn't say nose, that says bows. Nose hot glue gun. There we go. I suppose most of them are going to tell you the width of the nose. I mean, that looks pretty fine-nosed. Stick that on brain parrot. And why is it I changed nose and it, if I can put it back to bows? I mean, I know they make speakers and everything, but can we not? Doesn't look like any of them are particularly finer than the rest. I mean, they look, some of them look like they're going to be fine, but it doesn't say, actually, I do. Very thin strips of... Ooh! There's a 1mm one for a hot glue gun glue-matic. So that has... and it's not... that could be useful. But can't be here till Sunday. I like the idea though. Do like the idea of that. Who's this for? Different nozzles. So they got some 2mm ones. Works out about the same as the other one. Because hot glue would work quite well. Because then I could fill in the gap underneath the ball bearings if they fall off. Because it is something I'm feeling slightly cautious about. Glue gun that's £5, however, doesn't sound like a bargain. That sounds like something that's going to break. And just reading through some of them. I do love the ones that go, hey, here are some nozzles for a gun, but we're not going to tell you which gun they fit. The Stynol Glue-matic seems to be popular to have decent looking nozzles for. That's not how you spell glue, you stupid woman. Anyway, let's stop doing that. You don't need to listen to me scrolling on a phone, i.e. not at all. So, feeling very pleased with myself for doing all of that today. As I say, need to varnish them. That won't take so long. I'll probably get through quite a few of these little stick things though. But yeah, kind of good. And then obviously I've got quite a few to glue ball bearings on, but as I say, they're technically optional. So we would have, once sealed obviously, enough to do the strip now. So that's a good thing. Definitely feeling pleased for that. So on that note, huzzah! We have prepped our way through quite a few, because, well, 10, 20, sorry, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. 2, 4, 6, 8, 20. 2, 4, 6, 8, 30. 2, 4, 6, 8, 41. Ah, it's because you cheated. So we've made 40 bobbins, in essence, tonight. Bar the sealing of the thing. So with that in mind, got to be pleased, because that's more than we'd made in 2 streams worth before. We got a bit of a production line going and into a bit of a flow. We've kind of demolished most of the tube of bead glue look, and that's down to the very ends of this now. So that's looking quite sorry for itself. We've kind of depleted some of our bead supply. That does not look like, hang on, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 20, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18, 40. Oh, there's plenty of ball bearings in there, so that's alright then. It just didn't look a lot. So, yeah. Obviously, tub of varnish to the rescue next. And sticks, spare sticks. Yeah, definitely feeling pleased. So we are very close to completing more of my bobbins. Let's do up this bag so I don't get them confused, because the ones in this bag that you can't see, this bag here, this bag are the ones that I have varnished once. I may varnish them again, but we shall see. Anyway, on that note, it's been a bit of a weird stream for you, and I do apologise for all of that. However, I hope you've enjoyed the journey, and we shall be back hopefully tomorrow, assuming I don't try and, you know, go on a murdering spree with over anything. And we shall see how I've done, because if I get a chance, I'll paint some of them. Because obviously if I can paint them, then they're done, and then they're definitely usable. 2 coats would be better than 1, but impatient and really want to start winding things on for strips and things. So, you know, really kind of wanna. So yes, we shall see you tomorrow. Thank you for being here. As I say, if you don't normally get notified and you want to come back, ! Discord will give you better notifications than Twitch seems to. Plus you can send pictures and stuff, so yeah, you're always welcome on Discord. We're not the hugest chattiest bunch, but there's only a few of us there, so with time hopefully that'll change. No, so you can take care, and good luck everybody. Have the good rest of the day wherever you are, and if nothing else, have a good night and a good sleep, and I shall see you tomorrow. Bye bye.